Okay, so good thing about this car is it's easy to wedge an iPad onto the front dash so that you can record selfie video, so I find that to be a bonus. I really like driving this car. I've driven it a few hundred kilometers perhaps. Yeah, it's just, overall it's just a comfortable car. It's sort of like a kind of a decent size. Alright, yeah, it's better. Didn't like the way that looked in the video. Yeah, it's just started pouring with rain, so you might be able to hear the rain in the video. Fortunately, I got the outside video made before the rain rolled in, but this is New Zealand. We live on islands, and so when the weather comes in across the sea, yeah, you kind of get it. It's a lot like the weather in the UK, I expect. What else? I was going to say how much I like the car. Oh yeah, there was some good features. The Bluetooth audio works quite nicely, but one thing that annoys me, it always defaults back to the DAB radio or some other setting every time you turn the car off. So in most of the cars I drive, if you're playing a podcast, each time you come and start driving the car again, your podcast can just resume, or you just press the play button on the screen and it will start playing the podcast. But in this one, say you're playing a podcast on your phone and then you get into the car, the audio, I think it doesn't stop playing on your phone, and then you can't hear it playing in the background, and then you have to wait till the car's completely booted up before you can select the Bluetooth audio, which I find kind of frustrating. Then you have to jump back 30 seconds in the thing you're listening to in case you missed a bit. So I don't like that. The plastic around the gear shifter I quite like, but there's a little sort of crack in there, so if you get any dust or crumbs or anything, they kind of like sit down in there, and I don't like it. So I'll just show you what that is. Hang on. So this here, it looks real nice, but down in here it's always going to get stuff fall in there, and it looks a little bit dirty, and I found that slightly disappointing. I gave this a wipe with a cloth before I started making the video. Look, there's some of that rain that just came down. I'm at one of my town has quite a lot of cool parks. There's a river just here, which you can't see in the video. Yeah, so there's a nice walk along the river, and yeah, it's good. There's a lot of cycle paths in my town, so it's quite good to get around, even if you don't have an electric car. What else? What else was good about the car? Car feels really good when driving on the road. It's sort of like that size and weight that makes it really comfortable for taking trips when you're driving on the motorway, so it's pretty good. And like all electric cars, it's got good motor power, so it's just good to drive overall. It has a different, it has eco, normal, hang on, this is called comfort mode, normal mode, and sport mode for when you're driving. So you can choose those if you want a different option, but it seems to be that most people I know tend to drive all their electric cars in eco mode, because people are just kind of like trying to get the best value for money, or get some distance in their daily driving. So you know, that's what people buy cars primarily for transport, I guess, and especially like electric vehicles. What else is notable about it? Oh, there's a mirror in the visor up here, so that you can make sure you look great before you start recording your YouTube videos. And is there one over here? Yeah, one on passenger side. There's some light control panels up here, and sunglasses holder as well. Some people are just walking by wondering why I'm talking to myself. What else? Other conclusions? Yeah, it just seems like a really good car. Price-wise, at the moment, these are about 35,000 to possibly 40,000 New Zealand dollars, which does make them kind of expensive for just an everyday car. They're about, what does that mean? $6,000 to $8,000 to $10,000 more than a sort of a regular Nissan Leaf that would be able to travel the same distance. So that means that you know, in the New Zealand market, people buy the Kia Soul just because they like the car. It's sort of something a little bit beyond pragmatic reasons, although it does have quite a good upright sitting position, and there's like quite a decent amount of headspace there. So for some people, this car would be just a more comfortable car. You know, a lot of people have disabilities, or the tall or whatever, and a lot of cars are really just made for really average sized people. But I think that people that are a bit taller, or if you have some restricted mobility, this could be a car that you might be able to get in and out of a little bit easier. Again, because it's sort of a little bit bigger than even the Nissan Leaf, it's quite good. You know, you feel good driving it in traffic, because you're kind of about as high, or not quite as high as a lot of SUVs in traffic. So personally, I find it a real disappointment that the car market has gone so heavily to large cars and SUVs. Personally, I'd much prefer if everybody drove much more sleeker, lighter cars that would be just objectively more energy efficient, but also actually cooler and safer to drive. I think I'm wandering too far away from the video. Yeah, so Kia Soul's good. Like, if it's the style of car that you want for the price you're happy to pay for it, then it's a really good option against other sort of medium to low price electric vehicles. I don't know if they're still manufactured or anything like that, but there seems to be a few of them in New Zealand. They're pretty rare, but because they have the charging ports on the front and got ChargeAimo fast charging, then it's really easy to drive a Kia Soul almost anywhere in New Zealand using the fast charging network to get around. So that makes it a good option for a practical everyday car that you could also drive to another town or city. So it wouldn't be very difficult to do a 300 or 400 kilometer drive in a day in the Kia Soul. So that will get sort of most people halfway around whichever island in New Zealand they live in. You know, that's going to work if you're in the north or south. And if you live on a really small island, then you can probably drive it wherever you want to go, because the island's so small that you'll be able to drive anywhere on one battery charge. Yeah, but for people overseas, yeah, this is a good choice. If you live in the UK and you can pick up one of these cheap, that would be great. That would be a real good deal to if you could buy one off lease or just second hand. So I would recommend this if you were buying it in the UK too. It has heated seats, which is quite good, and I presume a heat pump air conditioner. The heater doesn't really seem to use very much. It didn't seem to make much difference to my driving range. I kind of expect that when I'm driving this, the maximum range I'm going to be able to ever get is something around 140 kilometers, which makes it a kind of a good, it's a really good commuter range. Like, most people don't have a commute of, you know, more than 50 kilometers each way, which is around my daily driving. 50 kilometers each way is pretty normal for me when I'm driving to work. So this is a really good car. If you drive, I think 40, 50 or 60 k's each way to work, this could be a really good option. Has cruise control, which makes it nice for doing that drive. What else? It has a B mode and drive mode, so more regenerative braking in the B mode. If you saw that and didn't know what it was. I just see the slot where the SD card goes now. I'll just see if it's actually in there. No, it's missing. So the SD card seems to be missing from this car, which is a shame, but it might be able to be found. I don't know, what else can you say about it? It's got airbags all around, so safe, so it's pretty good. Overall, I think this is a good car. Like, I'd be really happy if somebody gave it to me to drive all the time. It would be for, you know, 90% of New Zealanders, this would be just a practical everyday driving car. If you're just, you know, driving to work, taking the kids to school, going to the shops, doing all the normal things that people do all day, every day, and you can happily just charge the car overnight in your garage on a regular 10 amp circuit. That's a very easy way for New Zealanders to drive electric cars. So yeah, it's another good choice for a car versus something similar like a Nissan Leaf or sort of similarly sized, probably BMW i3. Yeah, ran out of things to say. Thanks for watching my videos. Please like, subscribe and share. Apparently sharing the videos is a great way to get my videos up the ranks. So if you want to help me out, click the share button on whatever device that you're viewing the video on, and share it with a friend. That helps. That helps. And yeah, subscribe to my videos if you want to see a New Zealand perspective on other electric cars. I've a few different electric car reviews so far. I think I've got Hyundai Ioniq, BMW i3. I think I've got a BMW i3 with a Rex in there. Did I do? And I might have. I think I'll do a BMW i3 without a Rex with a bigger battery, and got a Mercedes B250e. I think I made a video about my Honda Hybrid, the original Honda Insight from the 1990s. And what other car videos have I got? Can't feel like I've got another one. Can't think of what it is. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and I'm going to go because the weather's getting really rubbish. It's pretty sunny today. We're halfway between sort of summer and winter weather. Like sometimes it's sunny for a bit, and then sometimes it's rainy for a bit. So this is the console behind the steering wheel. I just want to point this out because I charged the car overnight, so we're fully charged. Got 138 kilometers expected. Now this is sort of based, I presume, on the recent driving. So my recent driving yesterday was driving home from work, and I averaged 15 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is lower than what I was normally previously doing, which was about 16.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Mostly because a lot of my drive is a little bit slow, although it's majority a motorway drive. It's not a fast motorway drive because there's loads of roadworks at the moment because we're building some new highways around the area, and because a lot of it is just speed limited to 80 for safety reasons. Another thing I want to point out is the middle part of the display where it says energy consumption. It's got this really weird flickery video, and personally I don't like it. I notice it flickering sometimes, which is really odd. It's like it's like watching some of those DLP video projectors where the video's not, frame rate's not high enough. I don't know, I can't really explain it, but I notice it flickering, and I can see it flickering in this video, so that's interesting as I record it.